Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Asad Yaqub once again with a complete IELTS essay writing workshop. Although I made short videos on IELTS essay writing and I tried to give you some shortcuts to IELTS essay writing as well, but now I'm going to make a long and detailed video about IELTS writing task 2, which is essay writing. So if you're planning to take your test in a couple of weeks time, so this video is exactly for you, because in this video I'm going to tell you how to start your essay, how to finish your essay, how to write the body of your essay. Not only how to write, but what to write, what does it take to write a good essay. All these things I'm going to tell you in this video. So be alert and be patient. Actually, this video is going to be for around 30-40 minutes because it's going to be a complete IELTS writing workshop, and that is why I have chosen open air for this. This is the rooftop of my house, and you can just see that. So that's why I'm here, so that you could go on with me for around an hour or less than an hour, because this is going to be a long workshop. But after watching this workshop, after attending this workshop, definitely you're going to be at an entirely new level. I've got this handout and I'm going to share this handout with you as well. This handout is all about IELTS essay writing. Before I continue, I would like to say a hearty thank to IDP Lahore. In Lahore, they are known as AEO, Australian Education Office. Last week they conducted a workshop and they invited me there. As a participant, I went up there and I attended the workshop, and from that workshop I got this handout, and now I'm making my own workshop for you. So this is how information and knowledge should pass on. I attended, I learned new things, and I'm going to share those things with you so that they also help you in your actual IELTS test. For me, this information is not that useful, but for you this information is quite useful because you are going to write IELTS test very soon. So let's take a start, because we have to accomplish a lot. It's up to you. If you want to watch this video in one go ahead. If you can bear with me, okay, but otherwise you can watch it in 2, 3, 4 episodes. It's all up to you, but you must watch this complete workshop. The title of the workshop is Understanding and Teaching IELTS, and we are going to cover coherence and cohesion. And remember, 25 marks are for coherence and cohesion. Rather, 25% is for coherence and cohesion. So that's what we are going to learn. We've got the other criterias like task response, lexical resources, grammatical range and accuracy, but now we'll be talking about coherence and cohesion. So get ready. In essay writing, how to achieve coherence, how to achieve cohesion, this is what I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, let's take a start. Achieving coherence and cohesion in task 1 as well as in task 2 writing, whether it is academic writing or gender training writing. So to achieve good coherence and cohesion in your essay, there are several main things to consider, and in this workshop I will try to cover some of those things. First of all, you need to present your ideas in a logical order. We are talking about coherence and cohesion. So the first thing is you need to present your ideas in a logical order. Use linking words. We also call them linking devices between your paragraphs. So between your paragraphs, you got to use linking words to make it easy for the reader to follow your ideas. Now, the main purpose of using linking devices or linking words, the main purpose is this, that the reader should be able to understand what you are saying, and it should be easier for the reader to understand. Now let's go on. For that, you can sometimes say one reason for. Now, for example, if the topic is smoking, I can say one reason for banning smoking at public places is. Now the reader can understand, okay, this is one of the reasons. Understand? Coherence and cohesion. Just in 1 hour you're going to learn each and everything about that. Then after that, another reason for this is because passive smoking is more dangerous than active smoking. Now what is that? That is another reason. It tells the reader that I gave one reason before and this is the second reason. Then the most important reason of all, this is going to be the third reason, and these are going to be the paragraphs, the subsequent paragraphs. The most important reason of all, however, relates to, and then you can just come to another thing, relates to environmental pollution at public places. Environmental pollution at public places. Now you might have noticed I'm just pursuing the same topic. Smoking should be banned at all the public places. How far do you agree or disagree with this statement? So one reason for this is, another reason for this is, and the most important reason of all, however, relates to, and then to conclude, and there you will write the conclusion of your essay. This is just the beginning. I've got a lot to share with you. Next, number 2. Make sure that every paragraph focuses on one main idea. Sometimes what do? We put a lot of ideas in the paragraphs. I mean, it is not good. You need to have one main idea in one paragraph, and rest is the explanation, example of that very main idea. So you got to make sure that every paragraph focuses on one main idea. Begin with a topic sentence, support it with explanation and example. Begin with a topic sentence, support it with explanation and give examples. So this is basically a 3-step formula for your paragraphing for IELTS essay writing. Again, I tell you, begin with a topic sentence, support it with the explanation and examples, and everything in the paragraph should relate to the topic sentence. In that very paragraph, when you are writing, everything should be related to that very topic sentence. Okay, so it's going to be like that. I can show you this as well, and you can get this handout from my comment. My comment is given below, my pinned comment. From there you can get this handout, and I would advise you, if you print it out, it's gonna be better. Okay, so in paragraph we've got 3 things, I mean the body paragraphs. First, topic sentence, next explanation, next example, and at the end you will conclude that paragraph by rephrasing what you've already said. Okay, step number 3. Use a range of linking words, cohesive devices. We call them cohesive devices or linking words, and referencing with your paragraphs. Now what is referencing? You give the reference, such people, this kind of activity, right? This kind of activity, such places, means the places you talked about them before, right? So you got to use referencing within your paragraphs to clearly show the relationship between your ideas. Focus on using a variety of different cohesive devices, but only use them when it is logical. Most important, this is the warning for you. Use cohesive devices only when it is logical to use the cohesive devices. Sometimes, you know, what do students think? They think if we write a lot of cohesive devices, we are going to get very good bands just because of the cohesive devices. It's not like that. Only cohesive devices will not increase your band score. The logical use of cohesive devices with the grammatical accuracy is going to give you good band score. Otherwise, it's not going to be like that. So focus on using a variety of different cohesive devices, but only use them when it is logical and when it helps to make the relationship between your ideas clear. Now, I give you a tip. Don't use too many cohesive devices. Actually, what happened, there was a band 5 essay in coherence and cohesion. So what happened, there was an essay, that essay got 5 bands, or there was writing task 1, task 2, that writing got 5 bands, and in the description of writing, or in the description of this band, it was written, makes inadequate, inaccurate or overuse of cohesive devices. Means this person has made inadequate, inaccurate or overuse of cohesive devices. So be careful. Cohesive devices should not be inadequate, they should not be inaccurate, and there should not be any overuse of cohesive devices. Next, may be repetitive because of lack of referencing and substitution. Now, if you repeat the same cohesive devices time and again your band score will go down. If you're writing again and again but or although or therefore again and again, you lose marks for that. So there must be substitution for cohesive devices. In this way, this is how, in this manner, this leads to, this results in. So you should have the alternatives for cohesive devices as well. Okay. Now let's go on using linking words. Now I'm going to teach you some linking words which you can use in your essay, in your letter and in your report appropriately to get good bands. Again, logically, grammatically correct and appropriately. So make sure you use a variety of linking words from the list below to help you get a high score in coherence and cohesion. Listing and sequencing. When you want to sequence your writing, like if you want to sequence your essay, you want to sequence your letter or your report, for that you can use like first or first of all or firstly, second, secondly, second of all is wrong by the way, okay, second or secondly, third, thirdly, or fourth, right, last but not least. That's very popular. In the last paragraph you can write last but not least, and this should be the last body paragraph. Finally, okay, now if you want to give your opinion, there are alternative words or phrases for that. Now you know, sometimes in opinion essay you got to give your opinion at 3-4 different places. In the beginning, in introduction, and in conclusion also you have to give your opinion. So you should have a variety of words for that. Giving your opinion, I believe, I think, in my opinion, as for me, comma, to my way of thinking, comma, in my view, comma, I agree that or I agree with, okay, I disagree that or I disagree with. So this is how you're going to give your opinion. After that, because you got to write 3 body paragraphs or maybe 2 body paragraphs, you got to give some examples. So you should know the substitute word for example. If every time you're going to write for example, you will be getting low band score because that's going to be repetitive. I told you 5 bands for repetition and coherence and cohesion. So for giving example, you can say one example is, and then you can quote that example. To illustrate, very good word. For example, for instance, and after that you will write comma, to illustrate, comma, for example, comma, to for instance, comma, namely, such as, like. So these are the phrases which you can use when you are giving examples. Adding information, if you want to add some more information to your paragraphs, you can write and then you can add something. In addition, comma, and then you can give some more information. You can write a couple of more sentences about that very topic sentence. Additionally, furthermore, moreover. Now see, at one place you can use in addition, at other place you can use additionally, next you can use furthermore, moreover, also, as well, not only but also. Next, emphasizing. If you want to emphasize over a certain point, for that you can use the words like particularly. Now when you write particularly, it means you are emphasizing on a certain aspect or you are emphasizing on a certain thing. Particularly, specifically, especially, obviously, without doubt. Now without doubt means you are actually without doubt. There should be a ban on smoking at all the public places all over the world, something like that. Next, clearly, of course, it goes without saying that. It goes without saying that means you are emphasizing over something, right? And let me tell you again, you are attending Asad Yaqub's IELTS writing workshop, okay? This is my workshop. Next is result. For result, you can use the word, and this thing will come, by the way, at the end of the paragraph, at the end of the body paragraph, especially when you are writing cause and effect essay. So then you can say, as a result, therefore, thus, so, for this reason, consequently, and after all these phrases or words you're going to write a comma. For example, as a result, comma, and all that. Then for contrast, in opinion essay there is a paragraph, we call it contrast. In contrast paragraph you got to give the contrast, means you got to write the opposite opinion or what other people believe. The people who disagree with your opinion, what do they think? So for contrast you can write however, comma, but, again comma, nevertheless, again comma, although, even though, in spite of, despite, on the other hand. On the other hand means now you're going to write a contrast. On the other hand, whereas, in contrast, alternatively. Now in one essay you are not going to use all these phrases, for God's sake, okay? You're not going to use all the phrases, all the sentences, but just appropriately, and remember there should not be the repetition of any cohesive word, any cohesive device. No repetition at all. Now let's go on. Reason or cause. When you're going to give the reason, for that simply you can write because, because of, since, due to, as, owing to, etc. And when you're going to write conclusion of your essay, the first phrase will go like, in conclusion, comma, there are many benefits of going abroad, if it is advantages, disadvantages essay. To conclude, and then you're going to write some conclusion about the topic, and to sum up. So you can use any one of these three phrases, and conclusion is only one in your essay, so you can use in conclusion, to conclude, or to sum up. Okay, I hope I'm not making you feel bored. Yes, still we have to cover a lot, and this workshop is for those who are going to take their exam in the very near future. Okay, now let's go on. This time we are going to learn some more phrases and sentences for comparison and contrast, cause and effect, etc. Let's see. Whenever you're going to give any comparison or you're going to give any contrast, for that you can just use these phrases. Now you can change these phrases according to your situation. I'm going to use A, B, C as an example. For example, A is faster than B. A is faster than B. Now according to your essay situation you can use this, and this is for comparison and contrast. A is more expensive than B. More expensive. A is faster than B. A is more expensive than B. Now for example you can say consumer goods are more expensive than whatever you're going to compare that with, okay? C is the fastest or the most expensive. This is the last degree, means out of all, C is fastest or the most expensive. C is significantly faster than B, significantly. Okay, the sales is significantly higher than. The sales of one bakery is significantly higher than bakery B. Okay, something like that. In report writing you can use that. And C is fast whereas A is slow. Whereas you can say the sales of one bakery went up whereas the sales of other bakery came down. C is fast whereas A is slow. Next, A is quite small. On the other hand, C is very large. A is quite small, full stop. On the other hand, C is very large. The main difference between A and C is that A is fast whereas C is slow. The main difference between the sales of three bakeries or among the sales of three bakeries is that, and then you can write whatever you want to. A is fast whereas C is slow. You can write bakery A got the maximum sales or the highest sales whereas bakery C got the lowest sales. Something like that. Do you understand? This is the language you need to learn. A is cheap. Alternatively, B is quite expensive. A is cheap, full stop. Alternatively, comma, B is quite expensive. Alternatively, these type of phrases will give you good bands, but if you use them logically and grammatically correct. Next, cause and effect. For your cause and effect essay, you can use this. Overeating is the cause of obesity. Overeating is the cause of obesity. Overeating causes obesity, overeating leads to obesity, overeating results in obesity. Three different phrases for that. Obesity is caused by overeating, or obesity is the result of overeating. Next is obesity occurs because of overeating. Occurs because of means the reason. So the phrases like in the cause, causes, results in, leads to, caused by, is the result of, because of, right? Obesity occurs because or since people overeat. Because people overeat or since people overeat. As a result of overeating, obesity occurs. Okay. Now some more. You are attending my IELTS writing workshop, and this workshop is for serious students who don't want a quick fix, who want to go for a long lecture to understand essay writing and IELTS writing. Now next, for additional information, you can write A is large and expensive. This is something additional you are saying. A is large, A is also expensive. Not only is A large, but it is also expensive. As well as A is being large, A is expensive. As well as being large means A is large, A is expensive, and expensive also. So as well as can be used like that. As well as being large, A is expensive. In addition to being large, comma, A is expensive. Learn to use these phrases to get magic bands in IELTS. Okay, magic bands mean good band score. A is large, in addition A is expensive. And the last one is contrast. For contrast, you can write homework is boring, but it is important. IELTS is boring, but it is important. Or homework is boring, yet it is important. The use of but or yet. And for contrast, IELTS is boring, okay, one thing, yet it is important. Another opposite thing, two opposing things. For example, if I say cigarettes are expensive, yet people buy them. Yet people buy them means two contrast ideas, right? So for that you can use but or yet. Although homework is boring, comma, it is important. Although smoking is bad for health, comma, people still like to smoke cigarettes. Like that. Despite homework being boring, you'll write like this. Despite homework being boring, it is important. Despite drinking being dangerous, people often drink. In spite of homework being boring, you can use in spite of and only despite. In spite of homework being boring, it is important. So I'm just teaching you how to do contrast. This contrast can help you in essay, opinion essay, as well as in report writing. Homework is boring, however it is important. Homework is boring, but still it is important. So these were some words and phrases, and you got to use them appropriately. Now we are going to come to essay. That was the background knowledge, that was background information which I wanted to share with you. And please don't forget, you can get this handout from my pinned comment. My pinned comment is given, so from there you can get this handout, and this handout will explain everything because I'm explaining from here. So you can print out this handout and then you can use it, and it's going to be very effective in terms of writing a good essay. Now, task 2, the essay, we're going to look at that, writing the introduction paragraph. First we are going to learn. Every essay must have a separate introduction paragraph. About 35 to 55 words is long enough. I mean 35 to 55. The length of your introduction of IELTS essay, means the first paragraph, should be between 35 to 55 words. The introduction paragraph includes two important elements. Now what are those two important elements that must be there in your introduction? So A, the first thing, a background statement that paraphrases the question prompt. Question prompt, I just tell you in a minute what is question prompt. So the first thing is, in the introduction paragraph there are two important things. The first thing is a background statement that paraphrases the question prompt. Second, a thesis statement that contains your position and introduces your main ideas. One is background statement that paraphrases the question prompt. I tell you what is question prompt. And then there should be a thesis statement that contains your position and introduces your main ideas. These two things must be there in your essay. Now let's see, there is a topic. Let's just go through this topic. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Write about the following topic. An increasing number of young people are traveling overseas to study. Now this is what we call question prompt. I read it again. An increasing number of young people are traveling overseas to study. This is question prompt. Now, is this a positive or a negative development? Now this is the instruction word that you got to write whether this development is positive or this development is negative. So what I said, for the introduction paragraph, I said a background statement that paraphrases the question prompt. Now what is the question prompt? The question prompt is an increasing number of young people are traveling overseas to study. So we will focus on this topic and we'll write an essay on that. Now first of all, you need to write a background statement that paraphrases the question prompt. Paraphrase means you got to change the wording. Idea will be the same, but you got to change the wording. You've got to use the synonyms to express that, right? Question prompt. Paraphrase means use different words to write the same meaning. As I told you, think of synonyms of words with similar meaning to help you write a paraphrase. Now for example, the word is an increasing number. In the question prompt, they have written an increasing number. Come up with some synonyms for that. For an increasing number, you can use more and more. Then we've got another word, young people. Now for young people, you need to come up with some synonyms. And remember, be careful. These synonyms should not change the meaning of the sentence. It's not that you used such synonyms which are taking the topic away and the question prompt is having another look and there is another topic there, right? For young people, you can use the word young adults. Young people, young adults. And traveling overseas. Traveling overseas. You can also paraphrase traveling overseas, and instead of that you can write going abroad or going to different countries or going to foreign countries. Something like that. Is this clear? I tell you again, in your essay introductory paragraph, there should be a background statement that paraphrases the question prompt. Now I'm going to just tell you how we did that. So background statement is all done. It's going to be like more and more young adults are going abroad to study. So we've paraphrased the question prompt. Now after that, what we are going to do? Then write a thesis statement that includes your position. Means what is your position? They are asking you, is this a positive or a negative development? If you think it's a positive development, that is your position. If you think that's a negative development, that is your position. So you got to tell your position. So then you got to write a thesis statement that includes your position. You should say what you believe about the question prompt and introduce your main ideas. Now it's going to be like that. I'm writing the introduction. The topic is an increasing number of young people are traveling overseas to study. Is it a positive or a negative development? So my essay states, more and more young adults are going abroad to study. Full stop. Okay, this is what I paraphrase the question prompt, right? After that, in my opinion, this is a positive development, and then you will write the reason. Because they learn about new cultures, become more independent, and bring new ideas back to their home country. The thesis statement. What are the 3 points? Why you agree with the topic? Why you think this is a positive development? There are 3 reasons for thinking that this is a positive development, and those 3 reasons are learning about new cultures, becoming more independent, and bringing new ideas. So that's it. This is how you got to write the introduction. I read again. More and more young adults are going abroad to study. In my opinion, this is a positive development because they learn about new cultures, become more independent, and bring new ideas back to their home country. Good. Let's go on. You've got this handout with you as well, okay? Little is left, okay? Yeah, I told you in the beginning, this workshop is only for those who have patience to attend a lecture, a YouTube lecture of around 1 hour. So it's going to be less than an hour, by the way. Writing the supporting paragraphs. Now after introduction, we are going to talk about supporting paragraphs and how to write the supporting paragraphs. How many supporting paragraphs should you write? Well, what do you think? 2 or 3? It depends on how many parts there are to the question prompt. How many parts are there to the question prompt? Accordingly, you can decide upon 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs. Usually, you will only need to write 2 or 3 supporting paragraphs, not more than that. So 2 or 3. But it is important to provide explanation and examples to support each main idea. Now in the body paragraphs of your essay, there will be one supporting, there will be one main idea, and you got to support that main idea with explanation and example. So let me tell you what will come in the supporting paragraph. Supporting paragraph should have three things. Number one, topic sentence. Number two, explanation. Number three, example. Topic sentence. Now if you remember, I told you about the topic sentence. In my opinion, this is a positive development because they learn about new culture. Learning about new culture is one topic sentence for one paragraph. Become more independent. Becoming more independent is another topic sentence for the second body paragraph. And bring new ideas back to their home. Bringing new ideas back to their home. This is basically the third main idea, and you can write a paragraph on that as well. In this case, you need to write 3 body paragraphs. So every body paragraph must have one main idea expressed in a topic sentence. All the other sentences in the paragraph should explain and give reason for examples about this one main idea. Now let me tell you, topic sentence. I'm gonna tell you about that. One positive development of young people traveling overseas to study is that they learn about new cultures. Topic sentence. This is the body of the essay, and we are talking about this topic sentence. It says, one positive development of young people traveling overseas to study is that they learn about new cultures. Explanation. I told you, topic sentence, explanation. What is that? They not only learn about what other people eat and how they dress, but after a few years of living overseas, they also start to understand how people in other countries think and behave in both social and professional situations. This is the explanation of topic sentence. Now part 3 is called example. So, for example, my cousin traveled. Now sometimes people think you cannot give your personal examples, but you might give your personal examples because this is an official document from IDP IELTS, right? IDPIELTS.me. So they are telling us that you can give some personal examples. So it means there is no problem if you give any personal example of your cousin or anyone like that, okay? So example. For example, my cousin traveled to Houston in the USA in 2013. He registered as an undergraduate student at the University of Houston, Clear Lake, and majored in international business. Through interacting with American and international students in the classroom and during his internship at Texas Instruments, he acquired valuable communication and intercultural skills. When my cousin returned to Saudi Arabia, or when my cousin returned to Pakistan with his BA, he discovered that many companies in Lahore or Islamabad valued his overseas experience, which enabled him to get a good job with a global company. So this is what we call example. Body paragraphs have 3 parts: topic sentence, explanation, and example. And I've just showed you. I've showed you how to write introduction. I've showed you how to write the body paragraphs as well. And I'll tell you about conclusion as well. So 2 or 3 good supporting paragraphs like this is all you need. Just 2 to 3 body paragraphs and there you are. And the method is same: topic sentence, explanation, and example. Now, we are coming towards the end of this workshop, and I'm really thankful to you for your patience and for bearing with me and all that, okay? Writing the conclusion paragraph. Now, how to write conclusion paragraph, that's what I'm going to tell you now. You must always finish your essay with a brief conclusion paragraph. Remember, brief conclusion, brief. It should not be a long conclusion that you open new topics and you start writing longer sentences. No, it should be like brief conclusion paragraph. Begin with a linking phrase. You can start with a linking phrase: to conclude, in conclusion, to sum up, in the final analysis, to analyze. You can use any of these phrases, and no repetition of cohesive devices, no repetition of linking words, but you can use and, but. These are the words we commonly use, so you can just use them. Okay, so now let's go on. Then look back at the thesis statement that you wrote in your introduction paragraph. the thesis statement expressed your opinion about the topic and introduced your main ideas. Before you write the conclusion of your essay, you need to go back to see the introduction once again, and then you can come towards the conclusion. So more and more young adults are going abroad to study. In my opinion, this is a positive development because they learn about new cultures, become more independent, and bring new ideas back to their home country. Now you have to paraphrase your thesis statement in conclusion. Paraphrasing your thesis statement, make sure you clearly express your opinion about the topic and briefly summarize your main ideas. This is your conclusion paragraph. Do not introduce any new ideas in the conclusion. Please, I request you, do not introduce any new ideas in the conclusion. Sometimes, what do the students think? They think that, oh, maybe they are getting less words here, they're having the lesser words, that's why they write more and more in conclusion to make it 250. That is going to spoil the balance of your essay, so be careful with that. Okay, now let's see. You can write conclusion. In conclusion, increasingly these days students are seeking education in different countries. Students are seeking education in different countries. This is the paraphrasing of going abroad for education or for higher studies. In conclusion, comma, increasingly these days students are seeking education in different countries. As I have discussed, you will give a reference that in the whole essay in the body I have discussed. As I have discussed, comma, this is beneficial because they become familiar with different cultures. Now here they are using the word familiar with different cultures. There they use the word learn about new cultures. Learn about new cultures is paraphrased familiar with different cultures. Gain in independence. There in introduction, when we were writing the thesis statement, there we wrote become more independent. So for becoming more independent, now we are saying familiar with different cultures. Gain in independence and become more independent, and bring a fresh perspective. Bring a fresh perspective. In first paragraph, when we were writing the thesis statement, there we wrote and bring new ideas back to their home country. So bring new ideas back to their home country and bring a fresh perspective on their return home. So this is how you got to conclude. Finally, check that you have written enough. Count the number of lines. If you average 10 words per line, if your average is 10 words per line, you should have written at least 25 to 27 lines. You may want to add a sentence or two to the conclusion if you think you have not written enough. If you have not written enough, then logically you can add one or two sentences to the conclusion. You can add a recommendation or prediction. So there are two things which you can add if you think your essay is less than 250 words, right? If it is undercounting, if it is less than 250, then you can write two things you can write in your conclusion. One of those things is that actually you can write about a recommendation. You can recommend something that more and more people should go to foreign countries, or I think government should make policies to send more people to go to foreign countries and like that. One is recommendation and second is prediction. Recommendation. Now what is recommendation? I tell you. In this globalized world, it is recommended that students continue getting an education overseas if they possibly can. This is what we call recommendation. You are writing it in conclusion if you think your essay is under length. Right? If it is 250 words, then there is no problem. And even if you don't write, that's okay, no problem. Next, prediction. It is predicted that the number of students going overseas to study will continue to increase in the future. This is prediction. So I told you in conclusion, if your essay is under length, you can write two additional things. One of those is recommendation and second is prediction. For recommendation, the sentence is, in this globalized world, it is recommended that students continue getting an education overseas if they possibly can. And for prediction, it is predicted that the number of students going overseas to study will continue to increase in the future. Okay, almost done. Thank you very much indeed. Now you need to understand the paragraphing in essay writing, paragraphing is very, very, very important. You need to write in proper paragraphs. It is very important to write in paragraphs in your task 2 essay. At first glance, your essay must have the right space and look. Now, for example, if you look at this essay, or you can take a look at your handout, if you look at this essay, in the first glance, you can easily tell from there that there are 4 paragraphs. So paragraphing is very, very important. From the distance, your essay should look like an essay, and anybody should be able to count the paragraphs even from this distance as well, right? So there is a tip to get above band 5 in coherence and cohesion, because they give you bands in coherence and cohesion, then they give you band in lexical resource, and then they make your cumulative band score, right? So to get above 5 band in coherence and cohesion, you must write in paragraphs, and the paragraphs must be written properly. Look at the task 2 essay below. Notice how the writer makes it very clear where each paragraph begins and ends by leaving a blank link between every paragraph. So you can leave a blank, a sentence, you can leave a line between 2 paragraphs. If you think the paragraphs are going to be mingled, then you can leave a line. It is also a good idea to indent every new paragraph. Indent means leaving space. Indentation means leaving space. So if your paragraph is ending at the end, for example here, then don't start your paragraph from the beginning. Leave some space and start from the middle, so that all the paragraphs look alone, look separate, and this is only when you don't leave a line between a paragraph. Leaving a space. Indent means leaving a space at the beginning of each paragraph. So thank you very much indeed. This was a complete IELTS workshop, and once again I am truly thankful to IDP Australia, and I'm thankful to AEO Lahore that they arranged such a nice workshop, and from that workshop this was a takeaway for me, and now I shared all the information, all the knowledge I got from there. I shared that all with you. Thank you very much indeed. If you like this video, hit on the like button. I deserve it now, okay? And don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank God my channel is restored now and you can watch my videos. And I also teach IELTS online. If you want to join my online IELTS classes, you can contact me for that. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best from the rooftop of his house in Lahore, Pakistan. Take good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz, Sat Sri Akal, Namaste and goodbye.